This is the Dave Elliott Show.
And good morning. Welcome into the Thursday edition of the Dave Elliott Show right here on YouTube. You can contact us anytime you want by going to www.daveontheair.com. Click the Listen Live to Dave link, and we're ready to rock and roll. I want to tell you that you can also reach us by calling or texting us at 305-699-COOL. 305-699-2665. And because it's Thursday, I want to say good morning to my compatriot at the other end of I-75, Kathy Dugan, sitting in her Victorian mansion somewhere in Traverse City, Michigan. Where are you exactly? Not that I want you to give out a street address, because I don't want people to come by and ask for your autograph.
Yeah, right. Close to downtown Traverse City.
Yeah. And being, in Naples, if you live close to downtown Naples, everything costs a lot more. Is that the case where you are?
The real estate does cost more. I don't know that the groceries or things like that do.
Well, when I lived there, I lived in what is called one of the historic neighborhoods, and that's over there between Union Street and Division. And there's a bunch of homes there. In fact, it's in that area that Bruce Willis and Demi Moore had a home when they lived there while their daughter went to Interlochen Arts Academy nearby.
Is that the central neighborhood?
Yeah, it's like over by Central Elementary School.
Yeah, they call it the central neighborhood. I'm in Oak Park.
Oh, you have a fancy schmancy name.
I do.
Oak Park. That's something new from when I was there all those many years ago.
Yeah, I think it was still called that, but it was maybe not. It's just not as famous as Central.
I see.
We tried to. There was a movement to make us a historic neighborhood about a year ago, but I don't think it went through because I haven't heard anything.
You haven't heard anything about whether or not they wanted to make it a historic neighborhood, which only means that you have to follow all kinds of rules if you want to remodel and paint and everything else.
That's right. No, yeah, they tried to gather signatures. A guy down the street from me and everything, but I don't think he got it had enough, because I haven't heard anything about having to sign. You'd have to sign more.
Do they have homeowners associations there?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, we don't pay anything for it, but we have the Oak Park. We have an association. We have an annual picnic and all kinds of things that we do.
When you say you have an annual picnic, do you have to pay to go to the picnic, or do you
just
bring a dish to pass?
Yeah, bring a dish to pass, and they shut down a couple blocks. It was fun during COVID. They shut down the couple blocks. They put a bunch of couches and easy chairs in the middle of the street, and they had a live band and everything. It was so fun.
Really? Well, they used to do a thing here in Naples. We have a main drag. It's called Fifth Avenue South. And it's like Front Street in downtown Traverse City. And it becomes a spot for festivals. They close the streets for various events. They have art shows and Cars on Fifth, which won't be happening this year. And people show up by the thousands to enjoy. Now, there they used to have something called Friday Night Live. Do they still do that?
They sure do. They only do it in August, though. I think it's only a couple of Fridays in August in downtown Traverse City, but it's really nice. They shut off quite a few blocks of our main street we call Front Street, and they have all kinds of bands and booths and food vendors with food and.
One of the reasons I wanted to have you come on a weekly basis is to talk about the similarities and the differences between one community of about 18,000 people up in the northwestern part of Lower Michigan and another community of about 19,000 people down at the southern end of I-75. And that would be Naples and Traverse City. They have a lot in common, and they have a lot not in common. I'll give you a couple of examples. To get to Naples, you get on I-75 from anywhere along I-75, and you travel until you see the sign that says Naples next exit. And I think we now have 3 or 4. Let me see. We have Immokalee Road. We have Pine Ridge. We have Golden Gate Parkway. And we have the toll booth. So we have 4 exits for the city of Naples. Now, the city of Naples itself is a relatively small area nestled on the Gulf of Mexico in Collier County, Florida. Collier County, for those who don't know, is the second largest geographic county in the United States, the largest being San Bernardino in California in the desert. Something like only 13 or 14% of the total land mass of Collier County is eligible for development, which means that 86 or 87% of the county will never be developed, largely due to the fact that much of it is Everglades and is protected. In Traverse City, correct me if I'm wrong, you're also on a body of water. We're on the Gulf of Mexico.
Mm-hmm. We're on
you're on Lake Michigan.
Yep. The big bay, Grand Traverse Bay. If you look at, using the traditional hand map of Michigan for the Lower Peninsula.
Hold up your right hand to your face with the palm facing you.
Yes. And if you pull out your little finger a little bit, that becomes Grand Traverse Bay. And that's where Traverse City's at the base of that.
And you're subject to a ton of what's called lake effect snow in the wintertime. And
yes.
In the summertime, it's called tourism.
Yeah. Yep. That's right. And I'll be also lake effect clouds in the winter. So it's kind of a gloomy place to be. We don't get as much sun as other places. but in the summer, we're just have tons of people that come in.
And even now in the wintertime, you're starting to develop a winter tourism market.
Mm-hmm.
When I first moved to Naples in 1994, I had been in California for 5 years, and prior to that, I had spent 10 years living in Traverse City. That's how I know about the area. And one of the things that I was impressed with about Naples was the fact that it was still growing. In 94, 32 years ago, Naples was on its way to becoming what it is today, but it wasn't quite there yet. And people would talk about it. It would be a place where it was decided that rich people came to buy expensive McMansions along the Gulf Shore. I would never want to live along the Gulf of Mexico for the simple reason that it's too much upkeep.
Mm-hmm.
You got salt water, you got beach erosion, you got sea turtle nesting season, which happens every May. And you can't go out, you can't turn lights on the beach at night during turtle nesting season because they get confused and don't head to the water when the hatchlings hatch. Well, these are all things that people, that are real deals.
Plus the hurricanes.
Well, the occasional stray hurricane, yeah. I want to just say something to my friend Jerry from Wisconsin. He loves you, Kathy.
Oh, thanks. My son used to live in Madison, Wisconsin.
Really?
Spent a bit of time there, yes.
Ah, very nice. And the reason that you and I are connected, for those who may not have heard us chat before, is because your late husband was a coworker of mine on the radio up in Michigan.
He was.
We both worked at the same radio station together. That station is a family-owned operation out of the local area, and they own multiple stations in the market. In fact, I think they own more radio stations in the market than anybody else.
Probably. They have quite a few. Yeah. And you helped us. Norm and I have a podcast from our house 10 years ago.
Is it really been that long, 10 years?
Yes. You were a great help to us. It was We couldn't have done it without you. So
Well,
very
anyway,
appreciative.
I have great affection for the two of you,
Oh,
and always
thanks.
have.
Me too. And
We've
you and I worked together quite a bit because I was the engineer.
that's very true. You were the engineer, an occasional contributor.
Yes.
You're a traveling pharmacist for people who may not remember. You were a traveling pharmacist. I guess you've
Yes.
sort
And
of
the landlord.
semi-retired now.
Yeah.
And you wanted to talk about zipper merges.
Yes.
What is I know what it is, but tell our listeners what a zipper merge is.
So if you're coming up on construction and you see that, say, right lane closed ahead, um, what do you do, Dave? I just want to ask you that first. What do you do? Do you get in?
I try to
Right?
go as far down the lane as I can until I am forced into the other lane. No, I
Yeah.
don't. I don't really do that.
You don't?
As soon as I see the sign, I begin moving into whatever lane I need to be in.
Yeah. So that's the problem. What has been studies have done and found out is that what you're supposed to do is can both lanes continue in the people they continue in the lane that they're already in. When you come up to where it says
Merge.
now you have to merge, then you take turns. The one every other car lets in a car, and they found that goes a lot faster. The merging goes faster. The lanes don't back up into like other, especially like here, especially we have the zipper merges, and they're on. We don't have the freeway, so it'll be like a main drag in town, and so we don't want to back up to the stoplights behind us. So it helps to prevent that, and it just everything goes smoothly. But up here, a lot of people do what you do. They get in right away, and so they and then there are other people trying to do the zipper merge that will go up to the to where they're supposed to merge, and then the people that got in early get very angry at them. they think,
Well,
they think they're entitled jerks.
I have to tell you something. You've opened my eyes to a rule that I didn't know existed, and it must be an unwritten rule.
Yeah,
That what the deal is one car if you're merging left from a right lane,
yes,
one car from the left lane goes, and then the car behind them stops and lets somebody in.
well, you don't really have to stop. You just make a little space and let them in.
Make a space.
Yeah.
And then the car that just got let in is followed by a car that's right behind the car that just let them in.
Right.
And then so on and so forth.
lane.
So it looks like a zipper.
Yes.
How you have different, people probably don't pay attention to the zipper on their pants or their jacket. But how it works is it literally connects one half of the zipper to the other half, one little stitch at a time.
Yes.
And then you get road rage.
Right. This is the thing. The zipper merge is promoted by the Michigan State Police, by the Michigan Department of Transportation. That's what they want, and they have videos showing how it works, how it goes so much better. and a lot of like my cousin in California, I've asked her. She said, "Yeah, of course you do that. It goes so much better." And I've been someplace once in a while in downstate Michigan. I remember I was on one of the freeways, and they were doing it, and it did go very smoothly. But up here, it doesn't.
It's
and
a free for all.
Yeah, and then we have posts on Facebook, millions of posts on Facebook about it because we don't have a lot of roads that are 2-lane, but when we have had quite a bit of construction on the ones that do this year, the last couple of years. So there'll be a post and people trying to educate others. The zipper merge is a good thing. And then, but there's people they put their, feet down or whatever and their head in the mud or whatever and they say, "No, absolutely not. It doesn't work here. No, you can't do that. We just have those entitled people." And so then the people who are trying to do the zipper a lot of them are afraid to do it because of the other people. And then you come across the person who puts the, from the who went over early, who doesn't like the zipper merge, they'll go between the both lanes to block the people going forward, which is, by the way, against the law. It's obstructing traffic. and and it's just a big mess. It's
Well, the thing I can tell you is in Florida, we've never heard of the zipper merge, except this one commercial I see on TV for Progressive Insurance where the guy's in the car talking about the zipper merge. And here, the way it works is if you're in the lane, you own that lane, lock, stock, and apple cart, and no one is allowed to get in front of you on penalty of having their rear end rammed by your car. It's one of those deals where lane ownership is everything. If you're me and you got into the left lane early, assuming it's a right to left lane merge, then nobody damn well better get in my way because you're going to be in trouble. Now, that's not me. I'm speaking in the first person for somebody.
Yeah, I bet. Right. I don't believe you there.
Well, you might believe me because... But from now on, instead, I honestly do. I would move over as soon as I saw the sign because in my mind, I'm going, well, it's just going to be jammed up at the end where everybody's trying to get in and nobody's going to let them. And we have some of the most aggressive drivers I've ever seen on I-75 here. I mean, these people, the speed limit is 70. If you're doing 70 in the left lane, they're blowing their horn at you. They're giving you the finger. They're threatening you. They're brake checking you, everything else. If you're doing 80 in the left lane, they're doing the same thing to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the speed limit around here is the real speed limit is ridiculous.
Sounds like Chicago.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
So the rule then is, as I understand it, wait until the very last minute to merge into the lane that you're merging to. And then be courteous if you're in that lane already and let the person in, because I don't think a lot of people know that rule or that tradition or that process, whatever it is.
Right. And that's the way it was here. And there's been some attempts at education by the MDOT, Michigan State Police, and now have been complaints by the people. Well, there's no signs that say that. It says why would it say that right lane ends and it means get over? It doesn't say get over. In fact, so then they put up signs that say take turns, to try to
take turns. That's pretty funny.
I know. And then, I'm thinking, well, they're like, well, why doesn't it say zipper merge? I'm like, well, it's okay. So you want them to make new signs? They're trying to educate you, but it's so funny. But now it is kind of, been out there, but it doesn't matter. People are like, I don't care. I don't care what they say. It's not right. It doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work because you get over, and you get mad about it.
Well, now
just give it a chance.
Now I know, and in honor of our conversation, what I'm going to do is the next time I have to be in a position where I have to zipper merge, I'm going to try it the way you say it should be done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now I just go, if I am in one of those situations, I just go up there and I don't care if they think I'm an entitled jerk. I'm doing it right. So it's their fault if they get over and have to wait longer.
One of the things that your community is known for, and ours is becoming known for, is food. You are known as a foodie town, right?
Yes, we do have a lot of interesting restaurants, different types.
In fact, a young friend of mine whom I've known for over 40 years, I guess young is a relative term, is the co-owner.
You've known him for over 40 years.
40 years. Is the co-owner of a restaurant called the Cook's House. Her name is Jennifer Blakesley, and she and her partner own basically it's a restaurant in what used to be a private home. I think it only holds about 20 people, and serve incredible meals. I think they have a Michelin star or two, if I'm not mistaken. And there are other restaurants that are opening and closing almost on a daily basis. My niece writes for a local online newspaper called The Ticker, and I check it out once in a while and see that there are always new restaurants coming into town there.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe the food scene there year round, not just in the summertime?
It's becoming very, I guess you'd say eclectic. There are different, they're expensive, I would say
Yeah,
that,
well,
but there
definitely
are
the case here.
there are specialties. I have to say, there's an Italian restaurant here, Papa Nero, or I don't know if I'm supposed to say the name,
Well, it's
but
okay. We're a podcast. We can do whatever the hell we want.
anyway, I have a friend who was born and raised in Italy, in Milan, and she's lived in the United States for maybe 20 some years, lived all over California, downstate Michigan, tried Italian restaurants everywhere. They were supposed to be authentic. Did not find them authentic, but I took her there for her birthday to Papa Nero, and she loved it. She's like, it is the only authentic Italian restaurant I've ever seen in the U.S. So, I mean,
The town is also was also the home to a state mental institution.
hmm
And that area has since closed and been redeveloped into, I guess, a restaurant area, shopping area, and everything
senior
else.
housing, all kinds. In
Senior
fact,
housing.
that's where Papa Nero is. It's in there,
Oh, really?
in one of the buildings there. Yes. hmm
Now, when people arrive in your community, much like they do in Naples, I am guessing the first thing they want to do is go find a place to put their head,
Right.
a hotel. Do you have a lot of high end and low end hotels? So there's a good variety of for people to choose from. Because here everything is high end.
We do, but in the summer, even the low end hotels, you can probably pay $300-400 a night at least, or
Yeah,
maybe more.
yeah.
We do, but I noticed there are more fancy hotels going up down. There's downtown, across from the bay. So there are always more hotels going up. Lots of Airbnbs and yeah, and it's still hard to find a place to stay.
I
I'll
noticed
see.
that you have a Hotel Indigo in the
Yes.
downtown area.
Yeah, in fact, that's where those new high-end hotels are going up is right next to that. They're actually right, and it's funny those hotels are right up on the sidewalk. They don't have any. It just seems to us it's really strange, especially when you you need to go in the summer, or in the winter when they have to clear it off and everything for the snow and everything
Yeah.
else. So it's really funny, but yeah, the Hotel Indigo is kind of cool. It has a big upper deck up on top of the hotel where you can go up and have a drink or whatever and see all around.
Well, rooftop dining is relatively new to Naples, believe it or not. Now, I mentioned that the city has a population of about 19,000 people. I think you're at 18,000 up there.
Mm-hmm.
The community, the Collier County area, is about 450,000 people on a permanent basis. You have about 150,000, I think, in Grand Traverse County or thereabouts. Is that
Sounds
about right?
right. Okay. Yep.
And you also have an airport that is growing by leaps and bounds.
Mm-hmm.
TVC is its airport
Right.
code.
Cherry Capital Airport.
Cherry Capital Airport, and it is run by an authority that is based in both Grand Traverse County, where Traverse City is, and Leelanau County, which is an adjacent county that is sometimes referred to as the little finger of the state of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
How do they get along with each other? The Lee and the Leelanau and Grand Traverse. Are there big conversations about the airport and it's too noisy and too many flights in and out, or are people pretty okay with it?
Well, what a lot of people don't like is tourists. And so it brings in a lot of tourists, and they have more flights coming in all the time. And so there's a Facebook group called Overheard in Traverse City, and that's where people would like to go to complain. And so there are complaints about that. In fact, if the people who they're not considered a native in Traverse City unless you were born and raised here. So,
Yeah.
and they'll say, and I know I even have a friend like that, and she'll say something about the tourists, she'll like, well, you don't know what it was like. You don't know. It's so terrible now.
Well, we have the same problem here. We have an airport that's in the city limits, and the city council has leased the land to the airport for 99 years at $1 a year. But there are a lot of people who came here more recently who, now that they're here, think the airport is just too entirely noisy, want it shut down, want it moved. They don't like it. They don't see the value in it. The airport here generates anywhere between $800 million and $1 billion a year in economic impact from people who fly in and out. We have a winter wine festival here that generates $36 million a year in charitable donations for local children's programs. You probably don't get the same kind of wealth up there because while we're both resort communities on beautiful bodies of water, the one thing that you don't have there is the wealth factor to such an extent. In other words, it's more, your community is more, has more appeal to people who maybe just want to go for a weekend getaway.
Yeah, families.
You're about 4 hours you're about 4 hours from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
You're about about 2.5 hours from Grand Rapids. And so people can jaunt up there on Friday night, have Friday night, Saturday night, and then leave late Sunday and still be home in time for dinner.
Mm-hmm. Yes. People come from Chicago, from all over. Even though Chicago, there are places closer to them, but what appeals about where I live is not only does it have the beauty, they have sand dunes, like a national lake shore that's near us called the Sleeping Bear National Lake Shore. Beautiful. And then right here on the bay is beautiful. We've built up the waterfront to be great. But then we have, like you said, the restaurants, the culture, and it's kind of in a quaint way. It's really fun. And the festivals, which is big, all kinds of things.
Yeah, the big one is the National Cherry Festival.
That's
every July.
Yeah.
And that's to celebrate the cherry harvest. And what's ironic about the National Cherry Festival having its celebration in the first week of July is that the cherry harvest hasn't actually happened yet.
Sometimes. It's been better. I don't know what they're doing, but now, yeah, we have had to ship in cherries from Washington State, but lately it seems like the last few years we've had our own cherries. I don't know what they're doing, but they've been ready early. Maybe it's global warming. I'm not sure, but they're ready on time more often.
We're with Kathy Dugan today on the north end of I-75, more or less, and we're down here on the south end of I-75 in Naples. It's the Dave Elliott Show. Live on YouTube. You can text us or call us at 305-699-2665. 305-699-COOL. Kathy, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back with more right after this.
You've got Dave Elliott.
And a minute out for Alice Sweetwater's. It's sizzling summer out there. You can tell just by looking at the steam on the windows in the morning. But Alice Sweetwater's has summer sizzling lunch specials just for you every day from 11 to 4. Mondays, the Smash Burger Beach Break for $12. Tuesday, it's Taco Tuesday for $12. Wednesday, the Dockside Duo, which is my favorite. 3 chicken fingers, 3 fried shrimp served with golden fries, $12. And Thursday, the classic French dip. You'll love it. Don't forget Fridays, the local catch lunch, and don't forget Alice Sweetwater's for dinner and snacks and everything in between. It's Alice Sweetwater's, my favorite place to eat, and yours too, I'm sure, at the corner of Glades Boulevard and Airport Road, diagonally across from the East Naples Home Depot. Alice Sweetwater's, where they serve crabs, shrimps, and big people.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. Talk to someone if you're struggling with mental health, because most people out here really care. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
He'd like to apologize to anyone he has not yet offended. Be patient. He'll get to you shortly. Dave Elliott.
And we're back here on YouTube this morning at about 7:33, and I want to thank you for joining us this morning. We're having a little fun talking about I-75 north and south. Now, I mentioned you're at the north end of I-75. You're actually not at the north end.
No.
You're close to the north end.
Mm-hmm.
The north end of I-75 is actually Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
It is.
Which is about 2.5 hours from where you are to the north.
Mm-hmm.
And I-75 does not even come to your community.
No.
It's the closest, I think the closest way to get there would be to drive about 70 miles to your east.
No, no, not that far.
To
It takes about
Gaylord?
an hour to Grayling.
Oh, you go to Grayling. Yeah,
I go
that's
to
about
Grayling and
50,
get on.
55 miles.
Yeah, it takes me about an hour.
If you're
Get
going
there.
south. If you're going north, you have to go the other way, up to the
Yes,
Big
and it
Mac
takes
Bridge.
me. Yeah, and to get to Gaylord, I get there a little over an hour.
Yeah.
So about an hour, but still, it's not easy to get.
It's a
either
2-lane
place.
road. It's a state.
Right.
It's a state highway.
Exactly.
And in the summertime, forget it.
I know it's clogged with people. Some of them going 35 until they get to where there's a passing zone. Then they'll go 65 till the end of the passing zone. Then 35 again.
Oh,
Which-
look, Earl, a deer.
No.
You know.
Yeah. No. It's like, okay. Well, you're not going to pass me now. I'm like, okay. Well, so you want a crowd of, a bunch of people behind you trying to pass you in the non-passing zone? Well, it's
Yeah,
terrible.
that's something I'm not used to here. We don't have
Mhm.
those in Florida for the most part. We don't have an area of 2-lane road where suddenly there's like a mile-long passing lane,
Mhm.
and you can get by the slowpokes. I guess in some of the rural areas they may have that.
Right.
Hey, I see that there's a guy who claims his hometown as your community, Traverse City, Michigan, on Big Brother, the CBS reality show that's been on for, I think, 28 seasons now. His name is Rome Seymour. His real first name is not Rome. I believe it's James, if I'm not mistaken. But he goes
Just
by
similar. That's
goes
a
by
common
Rome.
nickname for Rome.
Yeah,
for James
yeah,
Rome.
exactly. He says in his wiki on the Big Brother website. My real name's not actually Rome, it's Jack, he said. My best friends have been calling me Rome since before I can even remember. So I went into the house, the Big Brother house, saying, hey, the new best friends I'm going to make are going to call me Rome, but my mom, if you ask her, will never call me anything but her sweet Jack. I asked you about him the other day, and you said you didn't know anything about him or even about Big Brother.
No, I know what Big Brother is. I've heard of it, but I don't watch it.
You don't watch it. And I was wondering, there are a couple of things. I was wondering if he was a thing up in your neck of the woods, considering that he now lives in Delray Beach and is a pickleball coach.
No, pickleball, which a couple years ago, one of my friends' husband was big into that. And just as a side note, and I made the mistake of saying, "Oh, that old man sport," but it's not really, not anymore.
You don't want
I
to
know.
say that. Well, we have we have a national pickleball tournament here every year that draws thousands and thousands of people, and it's amazing to me that a lot of the players are not elderly.
No, not anymore.
In fact, did I see that John McEnroe has taken up pickleball now?
Oh, yeah. Of course, he's not elderly.
Well, no, he's 1,000 years old. All right. Well, good point. Yeah,
No,
good point.
no, but I will say, though, my son who lives in Vancouver, Canada now, he said every like corner they turned into a pickleball court. So, and that's pretty much a young town. So I'm saying I will say that now I believe it's, both.
Well, our community has sort of converted tennis courts into pickleball courts, but they've done it in a way that you can still play tennis on it.
Same here. Same here.
I guess they're marked for both sports. Anyway, to get back to Rome,
okay,
he has become quite public enemy number one on the show,
right.
and has been just nominated to be evicted from the house. And the betting, if you had to put money on it, he's gone as of tonight. Right. So he's turned out, he's in a showmance. You know what a showmance is? Can you guess from the name?
Well, I heard that he said, I did read about him since you brought him up, and he said, I love you, in one of to somebody, exchanged I love
Lyric
yous.
is her name. She's a lawyer from Hawaii. On day 2, they were sleeping in the same bed.
Oh,
and kissing and hugging and doing all the stuff they do. On day 2, that almost never happens.
Oh.
So they're trying to figure out how to protect each other. It doesn't look like it's going to work, and he's going to be gone. The big question is, well, over the next 11 or 12 weeks, where they're not able to see each other because he'll be out and she'll be in, will the romance continue?
My bet would be on no.
Well, you never know. You never know. Stranger things have happened.
Right.
What are people around town talking about the guy at all? Do you know? From what you can tell, you don't see anything in local media about him?
No. Well, I did, it is in there, but I really know I haven't seen much about it at all. Or heard much.
Well, okay. I just thought maybe we watch we watch Big Brother at our house.
Right.
And I went through a period of time where I didn't watch Big Brother because I was tired of it. And it's all, I mean, even though every show is different because they have different casts from year to year, I was kind of over the backbiting and the strategizing and the behind the scenes stuff.
Sort of like Survivor.
Well, in fact, 2 of the players on Big Brother were also on Survivor this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're really capitalizing on their fame, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of CBS, their morning show, called appropriately enough CBS Mornings, saw a dip in ratings in July that led to the lowest rated week in the history of the program. Do you watch morning TV?
No.
You don't?
No.
Are you primarily a streaming person?
Yes. Yep. Do I stream or I look, look on the local news. I'll just read. I'll scroll through things on online
on
or
your phone.
but except I do I do see things on Facebook. Of course, I'm sort of old.
Well, I was talking to somebody the other day who said his mother-in-law, who is 95, spends her entire day looking at YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
was
YouTube is big.
and was listening to our show on YouTube, as a matter of fact, and I felt very gratified that she considered us in her daily schedule of YouTubing.
That's great. Yeah.
So the question
Yeah.
I wanted to raise when I mentioned this CBS Mornings thing having the lowest ratings in its history is I'm kind of wondering if traditional TV, the kind that we used to, have at rabbit ears to watch, and now we get on cable, I'm wondering if it's on its way out the door.
I feel like it is. You know, a lot of people get things off podcasts and things. That's what I do. YouTube is a thing too that that's what I listen to the most.
Well, I find myself using YouTube as like technical support. If I have a
That too.
problem with something, I'll type a prompt in my browser that'll say how to, and then whatever it is I want to know. And
Yes.
invariably, the first several links are YouTube videos. I mean, I swear to God, there's a YouTube video on how to trim your fingernails.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. But yeah. But then there are other things. So I'm a true crime person, and so that's where I'm listen to different ones. Emily D. Baker's one of my favorites. But anyway, but yeah, there's that.
Well,
The
there
entertainment.
was a true crime story that happened up in your neck of the woods too that was on Netflix, and then recently ABC took that documentary and condensed it into a 2-hour ABC true crime, I think 2020 special, about a young woman who lived in Elk Rapids near you, who
Oh,
was being
yes.
stalked by a guy.
Yes.
This
And
guy went to the extreme lengths of renting a storage facility and building inside of his storage unit a soundproof, basically room, where he could then take this woman and kidnap her and have his way with her. And she, I don't remember her name now, but
I can't either.
it was quite a harrowing episode, and she was I think a counselor, and she was able to literally manipulate him into letting her go.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. She talked him out into that. Yeah.
But she had to have sex with him first.
Right. Right. I know. It was terrible what happened, but she did get out.
And she got out alive, and he was stupid enough. First of all, he was stupid to try to attack her and kidnap her. But then after that, he was stupid enough to let her go.
I know. That's what I thought. He believed her that they could have a relationship afterwards.
Well, exactly.
She wouldn't tell the police.
Exactly. So anyway, I thought that was kind of an interesting note.
Well, we had this bigger, even crazier thing that they haven't made any movies about it yet, but I'm sure they will. This past year, a girl, she was killed. They said she was missing, and then she was pregnant, about to have a baby. So it turns out, well, it's alleged. Of course, they're still in jail and there hasn't been a trial yet, but that her birth mother, who she had visited, had taken her and cut the baby out because she wanted the baby.
What?
and then killed her. Yes.
Well, I know you're laughing, but it's not a laughing matter.
No, it's not. I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry. It isn't. but it's just so bizarre. Now. It's so bizarre, but it's really sad what happened. But it's just the characters in it are just crazy.
And that happened in your community?
Yeah, it happened not too far between us and Cadillac, down in, Wexford County, but not very far from here. Maybe it's probably about half hour from here that it happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's going to be coming up.
Your little rural community is growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Well, there's craziness that happens wherever you live, but But anyway.
Well, I agree with you there. The differences between where you are and we are getting smaller and smaller all the time.
Right.
When I moved here in 1994, I remember thinking there are a lot of people who live in Florida who don't sound like Floridians. They don't have that southern accent, you know?
Yes, right.
They sound like Midwestern people.
Right.
And there's a reason for that. They're
Call 'em
Midwestern people.
They are. They call them snowbirds.
They call them
There's a
snowbirds.
large population that
Right.
live here in the summer and where you live in the winter. Yep.
And as a result of that, we get these surges of traffic and people. I'm sure right about now in your community, to go from one side of town to the other takes a day and a half
Right.
by car.
Yeah.
And
Especially
on top of which they're doing road work there, I understand.
Exactly. And we had a bridge that went out when we had the snow melted, and then we had a big rain. We lost a major bridge. So it's even worse right now.
There are only, like here, there are only certain numbers of roads that go across town. And
Exactly.
if
We
you,
have a river. We have a lake in the town besides Lake Michigan that's out in the bay.
Boardman
And
Lake.
so, yeah, yep, they're just a few ways around.
And then in the wintertime, you also become a cross-country ski mecca.
And downhill, even
Well,
though our hills are not mountains, but we do
they're
have quite a
barely
few people that
hills.
come up here skiing and snowmobiling.
They're barely
Yeah.
hills. You have to go all the way up to Boyne Mountain to really have anything that's
Yeah.
more than a hill. And Boyne Mountain is not a mountain.
No.
It's a hill.
No. Well, in Crystal, it is big here. Crystal Mountain.
Crystal Mountain, yeah.
Yeah.
And Sugarloaf closed, of course, many years ago.
Yes, many years ago.
And the problem is that when you go up to the top of the mountain, the run is like a minute long.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
You know, it's like being on a roller coaster. And then
But
you have to take the chair. You have to get on the chair and go chairlift and go
Yes.
back up to the top. And basically, it takes like 20 minutes to get to the top, and then stand
No.
in line. Well,
Well,
the
it
standing
depends,
in
yeah.
line part.
Yeah, could be.
And then 30 seconds down the hill.
Right. But I did get up to 40 miles an hour last year.
You
on
did?
going- Yes.
On downhill skis?
Yeah, quite usually I get up to 30, like 33, 35, but I was at Boyne. I don't normally go to Crystal, but I was at Boyne and I got up to 40.
How do you know you got up to 40 miles an hour? Do they have a radar
I
gun?
had the app on my watch.
You have an app on your watch
Yes,
that tells you how fast you go.
exactly.
Now I've
Yep.
heard everything.
Yep,
An app that tells you how fast you're going down the hill.
exactly. Yep. And it'll show you your route, the elevation, all that stuff.
That's remarkable. I wonder if they make the same app for people who ride jet skis.
I'm sure they have one for everything.
That's too funny.
Yeah. But jet skis, well, I guess maybe they don't have a speedometer on there or whatever, but that's
Well,
not your own power. This is kind of fun because it's kind of your own skill that gets you down there fast.
Yeah, your own locomotion,
Yes.
if you will.
With that and gravity.
Now, what is the weather going to be like in your neck of the woods today?
Well, we've been having it. It has been up like 80s, and we're kind of a little cold. And we've had just a little cold front, which has been kind of nice the last few days. So it's like 75. I think it's going to be like 75 today, but then
that's
then
just
it'll get
terrible.
back up into the 80s.
That's just
it's not
awful.
Really now. So for us, we love it. That's our ideal.
I'm being facetious.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see.
I'm-
Oh no, I guess now it says 78 for today. This is how it goes. So let me tell you. Oh no, I'm sorry. I was on Vancouver for a bit for looking at my sons.
Vancouver and Michigan, have similar weather.
Right. No, so today 77, then 79, and then it'll be like 83, 84. Yeah, there's so mid to high 70s, but we've had quite a few days in the 80s and even 90s for a while there.
Well, I'm telling you what, it's going to be 93 today here.
Wow.
And we're
Yeah.
going to get a little rain maybe this afternoon or evening, and then we're going to get more rain tomorrow. We are in what is called, in Florida, the rainy season right now
Mm-hmm.
because of, the hurricanes and all that.
Right.
Although I'm happy to report that Tropical storm Bertha, which was formed in the northern Gulf of Mexico, has made landfall and is beginning to dissipate. And
Well,
there
that's
are
good.
no tropical developments expected for the next 7 days, largely due to Saharan dust being blown across the Atlantic from Africa, but also the effects of the El Nino over in the Pacific, which is causing wind shear, which chops off the tops of hurricanes that try to develop or even keeps them from developing at all. And we like that.
Yeah.
They're only predicting 9 named storms this year.
Oh, that's good.
The average is 14 named storms.
Wow.
And I might
See,
point out to you, though, it only takes one to do the damage.
yeah.
You never know,
Right,
you
exactly.
can't
That's
let
scary.
down your guard.
Yeah. You see, where we live in the summer, it's just the ideal. It's just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
We love it, and we do appreciate that. We really don't even get tornadoes in Traverse City usually that much. They go out into the water and become water spouts. But I mean, we sometimes have ice storms or snowstorms, but it's not it's not the devastation that a hurricane
Oh, no.
brings. We don't get that, and so we are grateful for that.
I remember times when I would be on M22, which is the road that runs along Lake Michigan from Traverse City up into Leelanau County, which has been described by some as the most beautiful fall drive you can take in the country. When the leaves change in another little over a month, the leaves will start changing.
They'll start.
And
The peak is October.
and in
October.
October, you take this drive along these tree canopied roads, and it is nothing short of spectacular.
Oh yes, it is gorgeous.
But I can remember wintertime not being able to get down M22 because the water came up over the roadway from the winds and created basically blocks of ice in the road, not blocks, but like waves of ice in the road, and it was impassable.
I want to say wimp, but I won't say that.
Well, you can say that if you want. It's all right. I remember I control the volume here.
But we drive through like everything. In fact, I went to Norway last winter, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. But
Yeah, Norway must have seemed like a cakewalk for you.
oh no! Actually, they cultivate ice roads there. I mean, we drive along the fjords. Luckily, they allow studded tires, but it's all ice roads. That's what they want.
Did you go to one of those places where they heat the food in these thermal vents? Did you do that?
No, I stayed in a small town though, right on a fjord. That was wonderful. They only had one restaurant. They didn't have very many grocery stores nearby, even.
One restaurant. Can you imagine? Well, where do you want to go to dinner tonight? Well, there's only one place to go.
Well, if you want to get groceries, you got to drive like 15, 20 minutes. So it's a real small town, but it was fun. But anyway, yeah, back to Michigan. Yeah, it's bad in the winter. And speaking of the airport, I heard you talking about your airport, that people were fighting growth and all that. And here we have good people on the board, and so they we've been having more and more flights. We have direct flights down to Florida, and in fact, there's so many flights that they're going to expand the airport.
I heard that.
Yeah.
It's only got, what, 2 or 3 gates right now, and they're going to expand it to like 6 or 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the Fort Myers airport is also being expanded quite a bit.
Right.
It is, in fact, they're undergoing $1 billion expansion right now, adding new gates, changing the way security works. It's a big, big airport now.
Mm-hmm.
The Fort Myers airport is.
Right.
And,
yeah, go ahead.
And are they, as a result of this expansion, is this leading to more hotels being built and more accommodations being made for visitors? Is this airport, is it primarily tourist traffic that you get, or is there a lot of business traffic as well?
We get both, but there is a lot of tourist traffic. We have the big jets come up here, even the small town big jets come up here, especially in the summer, filled with people, hard to get a seat. And
Like
yeah,
United, I think you have United that flies into there, and
yeah, we have United, Delta, American, uh, what's Allegiant?
Allegiant.
Yeah, and then we've just heard that we're going to have Southwest is going to have some, they're going to come up here, and I think JetBlue might be. I think JetBlue comes in too.
The only way you can get there from here that I'm aware of, there are two ways you can get there from here. You can fly from Fort Myers to Detroit and then take a commuter from Detroit up to your area. Or you can fly to Grand Rapids and then take a commuter from there up.
I know. And a lot of people fly to Grand Rapids, but they are quite often you need a commuter from there. So if I don't fly out of Traverse City, I drive right to Detroit. It's only 2 more hours, and then you can get direct to a lot of places.
Well, and
We
you can
do,
also save money. I mean, the
yeah, we
airfares
do.
out of Detroit Metro are pretty good.
We have a lot of direct flights from Detroit to Florida. I mean, Detroit, Traverse City to Florida. Especially in the winter, there are a lot of places that we go. I know we go to Fort Lauderdale, Orlando. We might even go to Fort Myers. You said is the one near you.
Yeah.
There are quite a few direct flights.
I have to look into that because I've never thought about traveling up there in the wintertime.
Yeah.
My daughter has never really been in snow in her 20 years on the planet and has always said to me, I'd really like to find out what it's like to hang out in snow.
Sure.
So maybe some winter we'll have to jump on a plane and go up there and freeze our little toes off.
Oh,
of course, I will tell you that my toes are cold right now, and it's 93 degrees outside, or it's 83 degrees outside right now.
I bought some heated socks.
No, you did not.
Yes. Well, I got them before going to Norway,
socks.
and they're great. They're like the inner socks. Yeah, they have little batteries and keeps you warm, and then you have a heated vest and heated liner gloves. All of this was more for Norway, but
Did you go to Norway in the wintertime?
Yeah.
Why did you go to Norway in the wintertime?
I wanted to take photos of Northern Lights.
And did you?
I had a few. They have a problem with clouds too. And so I saw that, the best night was the first night I got there. The other nights I saw them almost every night, but a lot of times it was through the clouds. But it was fun. It was fun to go there in the winter. I enjoyed it.
Well, you had like 8 hours of sunlight and 16 hours of darkness?
In February. I was there in February, and it was, let's see, I don't even know if it was 8 hours that we had. I think it was less than that.
Were you above the Arctic Circle?
Yeah, I was. I was way up in northern Norway. So the place where in January they don't have any sunlight at all. So.
Really?
But it was
yeah. Dark. It's dark all 24 hours?
Yep. Yeah.
So you were probably just coming out of that when you were there in February.
It was just a short amount of sunlight, but of daytime. But oh, it was gorgeous, and it was just fun bopping around. Like I had rented a car, which don't do it if you're not used to driving in the snow and reading about everything. But it was so fun.
Do they drive on the correct side of the road there?
They do.
They don't drive on the wrong side of the road?
They do. I have been to Ireland and driven on the wrong side. But,
yeah, we were in Ireland, and I noticed that I'm glad I wasn't driving. We were on a bus tour, and I'm glad we weren't driving because I would have been really confused.
I drove all around there too. But anyway, yeah, I just loved it there. It was just so cool, and just to be, it's like you're out of the world because it's so far north. It's so, like where I stayed on the island of Senja, and it was, out in the middle of nowhere.
Did you go with a tour or did you go by yourself?
Myself, planned it myself.
You, yourself, and you?
Yep. I flew in. It took about, I think it was 4 flights to get there, from Traverse City to Detroit to
JFK, probably.
No, I went to over there. Anyways, Netherlands, over in the Netherlands. I forget.
Oh, you flew from Detroit to the Netherlands.
Yeah, and then I went to Oslo, Norway, and then another flight to Tromsø. So 4 flights. It took like a long time. And then I drove in a car, and then I had to take a ferry. It was a long ways.
How long were you there?
Felt like in the middle of nowhere, so it was really nice.
How long were you there?
I was there for like 10 days.
Well, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Were you glad to come home?
No.
You weren't?
No.
You enjoyed the food at that one restaurant so much that you wanted to stay.
I did. Well, I did like it there. I became friends with the people, but no, it's just like I said, just out of this world, and it was so cool. The place I stayed, like beautiful views, like windows views of the fjord, and yeah, it was just really nice. And in fact, of course, the couple days after I left, were going to be clear. The sky was going to be clear.
Naturally.
I know. I was almost thinking, should I extend?
I've always preferred to end my vacation on a cloudy, rainy day.
I know.
And then I don't feel so bad that I'm missing something. Well, Kathy Dugan, it's been a pleasure to have you on for the last hour.
Thank you. Yes.
And we've learned a lot about the similarities between our two communities, and we've learned about the zipper merge. We've learned about Norway. We've learned that we both have similarities and not good ones with our airports, that tourism is alive and well in both places. We didn't even get into the fact that marijuana is legal in the state of Michigan, and you drive up and down I-75 and you see these signs that say, "Come to the house of dank."
Yeah, we have one of those. Yes. we have, I know, I was just driving around the other day, and there's all over the place, there's marijuana places.
House of dank. I mean, I couldn't believe that. We were going up I-75, and about every 2 miles there was another billboard advertising this. How is legal marijuana doing there? Should we save that? Maybe we'll save that for next week.
Yeah, let's save it for later. That's quite a conversation.
We'll get into that because there was a move here to legalize recreational weed, and it failed. It passed in the sense that it had a majority of the votes. I think it was a 58% majority, but they needed 60% for the thing to be law. Yeah. So it never made it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, thank you for joining us. Say hi to all my friends up there, Phil and everybody else that I know up there.
Okay.
And we'll chat again next week. We'll be talking about legalized recreational weed.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Alrighty. Sounds good. Been great, Dave. Take care.
Have a great day, and thank you for joining us and spending part of your Thursday with us, Kathy. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
That was Kathy Dugan, our Michigan correspondent, joining us from near the other end of I-75. When we come back, it's the funny man himself, direct from Vegas, Bob Zaney. Stay there.
You've got Dave Elliott.
I'd like to take a minute to talk to you about your hearing, and especially if you are experiencing hearing problems or you've noticed recently that your hearing just isn't as acute as it used to be. Well, the folks at Naples Audiology and Hearing Center can take care of that for you. My friend, audiologist and owner Christine Peacock, and her entire staff are dedicated to one thing and one thing only. And no, it's not the freshly baked chocolate chip cookies you'll find every day when you walk in, but it's your hearing. If you wear cochlear implants, they can help you with that. If you wear hearing aids, they can help you tune them up or get them repaired if they're under warranty, or if you need to be replacing them, they can help you with that too. At Naples Audiology and Hearing Center, they are the experts. They've been around a long time, and it's not this one-size-fits-all thing with them because everybody's hearing concerns are unique. Naples Audiology and Hearing Center, online at napleshearingcenter.com, or call them at 239-434-2434 and tell them you heard about it on the Dave Elliott Show.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
He has a unique set of skills that can somehow turn any situation into an awkward one. Dave Elliott.
Thank you, sir, and thank you very much for hanging out with us on this Thursday morning. My thanks to Kathy Dugan for contributing from the north end of I-75 this morning. Your weather forecast today, calling for sunshine this morning, becoming mostly cloudy with showers developing this afternoon. The high will be 94. Winds out of the east-northeast at somewhere around 5 to 10 miles an hour. There's a 40% chance of rain today. Tomorrow, afternoon thunderstorms expected with highs near 90. And on Saturday, much the same story. The high Saturday expected to be about 89 degrees. As far as your traffic goes this morning, the commute, there are no incidents being reported by the Collier County Sheriff's Office and no major tie-ups on the roadways in the area. In fact, it looks like everything is clean and green with the exception of the East Trail down near Lely Resort. There is in the eastbound lanes a tie-up there before Collier Boulevard. So I'm not sure whether there's a traffic accident or a disabled vehicle or something is happening there. And on US 41 in Naples, along near Gulf Shore Boulevard, well, not near Gulf Shore Boulevard. I'm trying to get, if I can just get this thing off. There we go. There's a little bit of a slowdown near Park Shore, northbound on 41. All right. It's the time we've all been waiting for. Our buddy direct from Vegas, Mr. Bob Zaney, the king of funny. Bob.
Hey, Dave. BobZaney.net's the website. Go there. Check out my dry bar comedy special on YouTube. Watch it, like it, share it from there. Today, it hit 9.5 million views and counting on YouTube.
Tremendous. That's tremendous.
Yeah. Whoopi Goldberg says it's not easy having sex in a pool, especially when the kids are splashing around and hitting you with their floaties.
I think that's a problem.
Portland, Oregon. Healthcare facilities now will be allowed to return amputated body parts to patients. The arms and legs will help pay for their hospital bill.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And in Las Vegas, they write themselves.
Yeah.
And in Las Vegas, the teachers union doesn't want its members to work overtime. They're pushing to have a 7-hour, 11-minute day. Ironically, with low test scores and dropout rates at an all-time high, they'll be lucky to find a job at 7-Eleven.
Probably. Yeah. Would you like some curry with that?
Yes. BobZaney.net. That's where you see where I'm headed next. Captain Brian's Off the Hook Comedy Club, November, Thanksgiving week. That's the week where where Dave comes out with his whole family and I have to be nice.
Well, and you don't buy the turkey, though.
I don't buy the turkey. I am the turkey.
All right.
And you can check out my Macari store. Book me on Cameo. I'll be filming one a little later on today. And of course, get a Wake Me If You're Horny t-shirt in my merch store at bobzany.net. Let's go back in time.
Oh, you caught me off guard there, buddy. Here's the sound effect. You ready?
Oh, yeah. We're going. And we made it. It's March 22nd, 2001. Dateline, Gilbert, Arizona. Police are on the lookout for a bank robber who specifically asked for denominations of $40 and $80 bills. Now, he left with nothing after the teller said, all we have are 30s and 60s.
Yeah.
On the Twitter, at Bob Zany, Zany Bob on the Instagram, and Zany Baby, Instagram, TikTok, and the official Bob Zany channel on YouTube. Subscribe. It's free to do so. Till next week. Baby.
Baby. Thank you, Bob. He's funny. He knows he's funny. He pretends he's not, but he knows he is. All right, it's 8:11 here on a Thursday morning, and there is news out there of a weird nature and a fascinating nature. So for the next few minutes, we're going to go through the news. A letter containing what is described as absolutely fascinating details of life on the Titanic cruise liner is expected to fetch around $47,000 at auction. Written by a passenger named Henry Hodges, the letter is dated April 10th, 1912, the day the Titanic set sail, according to a listing at British auction house Henry Aldridge & Son. In the letter, Hodges tells a friend, Hector, about what a fine time he has had on board. Up to now, you do not see anything of the movement of the ship, but the weather is very fine, he writes, and his handwriting is actually legible. On the top deck, he said, there are about 200 boys from 20 upwards, marching round and singing. Others are playing dominoes and cards in the saloons. Some reading, some writing. Everything is quite different to what you would expect to see at sea, adds Hodges, who died when the ship sank. When the Titanic departed Belfast, Northern Ireland on her maiden voyage, she was the largest passenger ship in service, and as you probably know, was considered to be unsinkable. You may have heard of the musical The Unsinkable Molly Brown. Well, that was a story of a real woman who was on the Titanic. Just 4 days later, on April 14th, the ship hit the iceberg in the North Atlantic at 11:40 p.m. local time and sank in less than 3 hours. The unsinkable ship sank. The ship did not have enough lifeboats for the approximately 2,220 people on board. More than 1,500 people lost their lives on that ship. And the Titanic became the most famous shipwreck in history. So it looks like, there was... Today you'd find people on roller coasters and water slides and everything else on board the cruise ships. Hey, have you ever been to that place called Nothing Bundt Cakes? There's a location of it on Pine Ridge Road here in Naples. Well, they have a new project in the works. This time focusing on, of all things, milkshakes. They come in 15 different flavors with real fruit and cake made in-house. Nothing Bundt Cakes co-founder Dina Tripp is no longer affiliated with the cake shop, but is now launching Shook Shakery with her son Sean. Shook Shakery with Sean, as well as Jessica Spencer, who previously worked for the bakery chain. The menu consists of shakes made of ice cream, fruit, in-house cake flavors like brown sugar, chocolate, pink, and vanilla, and the company's signature whipped topping. I'm not sure if there's one in our area. They will be located at different places around the country, I guess. including Henderson, Nevada, 3 locations in Las Vegas, and that's it for now. But I have a feeling if it's successful, it'll take off here. Now, the only problem I have with Shakery would be that if you ever had a milkshake where they put bits of fruit in there and you get the bit of fruit stuck in the straw? You know what I'm talking about? You can't possibly get it out. You suck and you suck and you suck until you're blue in the face. You try blowing the thing out of the straw, and all that happens is the milkshake bubbles up and gets in your face. And then when you finally do get the little piece of fruit or cake or whatever it is out of your straw, you just re-suck it up again. I'm not sure that putting bits of cake and fruit in a milkshake is the best idea I've heard. And don't we have enough milkshake? Isn't there Steak and Shake? And now the Shake Shack. And you can get kind of shakes at Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. What do they call them? The one of my favorite ones at Chick-fil-A is so they mix the lemonade with their soft serve and put it in a cup. I just love that. I also had one time there that had pineapple in it. And again, that was the problem with the pineapple. The bits were getting caught in the straw. Not pleasant. Not happy. Birthdays today. Anthony Kennedy, retired Supreme Court Justice, is 90 years old. Woody Harrelson from Cheers, of course, and Natural Born Killers, and I think he was also in, wasn't he in those movies, The Hunger Games? Wasn't he in that? He's 65. The actor Eric LaSalle, who was featured in the TV show ER, goes back a few years, and he's also a director. I've seen his name show up on directing credits quite a bit. 64. Guitarist Slash from Guns N' Roses, 61. Actress Charisma Carpenter from Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel is 56. Many times over Grammy winner Alison Krauss, 55. Marlon Wayans, one of the Wayans brothers, 54. Actress Catherine Hahn, 53. She always plays, well, she's in WandaVision. I believe she's also in a show called The Studio with Seth Rogen on Apple TV. She is 53. Monica Lewinsky, do I need to tell you who she is? The same age today. Stephanie March, actor from Law & Order Special Victims Unit, is 52. Paul Wesley, known for his role in The Vampire Diaries and as the most recent Captain Kirk in the Star Trek TV series on Paramount Plus, is 44. And Harry Potter himself, the original, Daniel Radcliffe, is 37 years old. On this date in history, get your history hat on, kids. In 1715, the first lighthouse in America was authorized for construction at Little Brewster Island, Massachusetts. In 1715, very first lighthouse. In 1827, another first, the first swimming school in the United States opened in Boston. And among its patients, or its pupils, I should say, not patients, pupils, John Quincy Adams and James Audubon. I bet you I would like to have been a fly on the wall for those conversations. 1903 in Detroit, the Ford Motor Company sold its first automobile on this date. Featured a twin-cylinder internal combustion engine designed and manufactured by Henry Ford himself. And, of course, he has quite a history here with the Edison estate, the Edison Ford estates in Fort Myers. In 1904, some people say the ice cream cone was invented on this date. Now, there is a landmark achievement by Charles E. Menches during the World's Fair Louisiana Purchase Exposition in St. Louis. I wonder if it's any coincidence that the yogurt place called Menchie's is named that. This guy's name was Menches, Menches. 1982, can you guess what happened? Something food-related or drink-related on this date in 1982? Diet Coke was first introduced. In 2003, in Fort Worth, Texas, Fred McDougan was trying to conserve our natural resources when he walked into a Wells Fargo bank and handed the teller a hold-up note written on an old sheet of paper. Well, he got his cash and was out of the building before the teller turned the sheet over and saw just what it was. It was our Fred's resume with a piece of black construction paper covering his name. The cops peeled away the tape and, needless to say, quickly made the arrest. And that's one for the stupidest gang in town books. In 2010, there was a TV show on this date called The X Factor, and it was during that show that One Direction, the band, was formed. On this date in 2015, just 11 years ago, NASA's Kepler mission announced the discovery of the most Earth-like planet yet, Kepler 452b, 1,400 light years from Earth, a mere jaunt across the galaxy. China launched its first mission to Mars on this date in 2020. How did that turn out? Did they ever get there? And what did the Martians think when the Chinese landed there before the U.S. did? I think the U.S. was on Mars before 2020, though, at least with unmanned robotic craft. 5 years ago, Major League Baseball's Cleveland Indians, announced they would be renamed the Guardians after the Guardians of Traffic, 8 large Art Deco statues on the Hope Memorial Bridge located near their playing field. And finally, 4 years ago, WHO declared monkeypox a global health emergency, later changed to Mpox, because some people thought the name monkeypox was, for whatever reason, racist. Today, you gorgeous grandmas, it's your day. Hot enough for you day, refreshment day, Shiraz day, now there's a good wine, vanilla ice cream day, peanut butter and chocolate day, sprinkle day, and to wrap up the list, today is yada, yada, yada day. Yada, yada, yada day. And you are now caught up with all of the important things that are related to July 23rd, 2026. In other news this morning, William Shatner, did you hear about this? He's 95. Looks pretty darn good for 95, wouldn't you say? William Shatner and his youngest daughter, Melanie Shatner Gretsch, weathered one of life's toughest challenges together, simultaneous cancer diagnoses. William tells USA Today he battled stage 4 malignant melanoma while his daughter Melanie, who's now 61, fought stage 4 breast cancer 3 years ago. Shatner says his health challenges started in June of 2023 after a lump formed on his cheek, which continued to grow. He said, "My family doctor says we got to get this out, and it was a stage 4 malignancy. 10 years ago, I would have been dead," he says. Imagine going into your doctor's office and he says, "Pack your bags. You got 5 months to live. It's stage 4 melanoma." Now, at the same time that was happening, his daughter, his youngest daughter, Melanie, 61, as I mentioned, was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. He says she too was told, "Pack your bag, you got 5 months at the most." So he said it was the two of us. He said, "Can you imagine being told you got 5 months to live?" He said, "I don't know what your motivations are or what you'd want to do first, but to be told you've only got 5 months to live and part of that time you're going to be very ill, what are you going to do?" Well, although the cancer Shatner, the older, had spread to his lungs and brain. He is now, believe it or not, on the other side of the health battle after undergoing surgery and 2 years of immunotherapy. He says his daughter has also recovered from the cancer scare. He says, we, meaning he and his daughter, are cancer-free. In a joint interview with People, Melanie said at the time, I remember vividly thinking, I don't have the strength to take care of myself and lose my father at the same time. On July 29th, just a few days from now, the father-daughter duo is launching a new weekly podcast series titled No Time But Now, where they interview health experts and other survivors, including end-of-life advocate Alua Arthur, Olympic gold medalist Scott Hamilton, the king of chemo, which is what he calls himself, Ian Ward, Dying to Be Me, author Anita Moorjani, and pioneering nutrition researcher Dr. William Lee. That's pretty good. He's 95 and he's starting a new venture. Besides Melanie, Shatner shares daughters Leslie Shatner, 67, and Elizabeth Shatner, 65, with his wife, the late actress Gloria Rand. Shatner is one of these guys, when he goes, I don't think people are going to believe he's really gone. He's ubiquitous. In fact, if you haven't seen the commercial, it's for a breakfast cereal. He calls himself Will Shat. As you probably know, the word shat is often used as a past tense version of another word that isn't so nice to say. But he calls himself Will Shat, and even appears to do a crazy stunt where he jumps off a high place. Obviously, done with a stunt double, but he's still out there kicking and taking a licking at the same time. And then there is Casey McGovern's daughter. One incident without supervision is all it took for the little girl to die. Casey McGovern still remembers the series of events down to the minute nearly 17 years later. Checking out at Publix on an August afternoon, driving back to her Coral Springs home, setting 19-month-old Edna Mae, or M as her family calls her, in the front of a TV with a snack. She began putting the groceries away and then went briefly into the living room to answer a question from her husband, and when she returned, her daughter wasn't there, so she started looking for the toddler around the house. McGovern didn't think to check the family's pool first. You know where this story's going. She didn't know back then just how deadly a pool could be or that M might be in it, but when she stepped outside after searching the other rooms of the house, she saw her daughter floating on the water and screamed. Her husband ran outside and started CPR. Then the paramedics arrived. The public receipt that she had with her was time-stamped 3:46 p.m. By 4:15 p.m., less than a half an hour later, McGovern and her husband Shannon were in the hospital. M never regained consciousness and died a week later. She said it was 29 minutes from checking out with groceries for a family of 5 to watching my daughter fight for her life. Child drownings have long been a tragic reality in Florida, but the crisis has reached unprecedented levels, according to reporting in the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. Florida is now moving toward its deadliest year on record, driven by a bunch of summer tragedies that safety experts are struggling to halt. As of mid-July, 74 children have drowned in Florida this year. 74! We live in a state surrounded by and featuring water, and we have 74 children's deaths as of mid-July this year alone due to drowning. Coming off 2025's record high total of 120 fatalities, we're on track to beat that. July alone has had 7 deaths thus far, and in South Florida, 6 children have died since mid-June, while pediatric trauma centers report treating near-fatal drownings on almost a weekly basis. Drowning has now cemented itself as the most important leading cause of death for children ages 1 to 4 in Florida, and the entire U.S., surpassing all other causes, both accidental and intentional, Florida leads the nation in child drowning deaths. This comes despite decades of public education campaigns and localized prevention efforts. And now advocates, medical professionals are left trying to figure out what to do. Why, in a state that is supposedly hyper-aware of water safety, do young lives continue to slip away? And what will it take to curb this devastating trend? M died back in 2009. She was 19 months old. So she was a year and a half old, born in the first part of 2007. So she would now be 19 years old. McGovern, who later helmed the Department of Health's drowning prevention program in Broward County, now knows that having a pool in the backyard with no child safety measures in place, such as a pool fence, door alarm, survival, swim lessons, and knowledge of CPR, is like having a loaded gun on the table, but many other parents don't. The most important thing you can do is take care of your kids. And when water is in the house or in the yard, having an alarm on the door that goes outside, having a fence around the pool. We had a fence around our pool when our daughter was little, and it will go with the house if we ever sell it, is the most important thing you can do. Keeping them from the water unless you're there in the water with them. It's inconceivable to me that this could happen. I know we're all busy. I know we all have many, many things coming at us at any given time. But honestly, is there anything more important than your kids? Elsewhere around the world, Jimmy Kimmel confirmed that he recently offered former late-night rival Stephen Colbert the chance to guest host Jimmy Kimmel Live during his summer vacation. He said, "Of course I asked him, and I think it feels premature," said Kimmel to Variety in an interview published yesterday. He said, "But I told him, anytime you want to host, it doesn't matter if it's summer, I'll gladly step aside." While Kimmel made the offer ahead of his summer break, he revealed to the outlet that Colbert politely declined. You probably know that they have been, both of them, frequent targets of the president over the years. In May, Colbert signed off as host of The Late Show after 11 years, amid questions over whether his series cancellation was influenced by Trump recently settling a $16 million lawsuit against CBS. And if you don't remember, The Late Show has been replaced by a show called Comics Unleashed as part of a deal where the producer of that show and its host, Byron Allen, purchased airtime from CBS. So they're literally, no matter how you slice it, it's technically paid programming. In some circles, it would be referred to as an infomercial. Colbert said, "We've done over 1,800 of these shows, and most nights I come out here and I talk to the audience beforehand, and tonight I thought I'd talk to the audience in here and the audience out there at home." He said, "The show I want you to know, and you to know, has been a joy for us to do for you." Later in his monologue, when he announced it, he said, "We call it a joy machine because to do this many shows, it has to be a machine. But the thing is, if you choose to do it with joy, it doesn't hurt as much when your fingers get caught in the gears. And I can't adequately explain to you what the people who work here have done for each other and how much we mean to each other," he said. You may also recall that Colbert wasn't off screen for long, as he made an unannounced appearance on a public access show, of all places, in Monroe, Michigan, one night after wrapping up his CBS tenure. He had previously hosted a show for Monroe Community Media in 2015 while gearing up for his Late Show debut. He said at that night, "Since I was last here in Monroe, Michigan, I spent 11 years as the primary host of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert on CBS, which came to an end last night," he explained to viewers. Viewers outside the greater Monroe area, he said, are able to view Monroe Community Media thanks to something known as streaming, which I promised not to learn about while I was at CBS, and evidently CBS has also decided not to learn about it, he went on to say. But that's interesting that Jimmy Kimmel said he could fill in for Jimmy any time he wanted. And Colbert, I can understand why he'd need a little time away, just to kind of put a little distance between him and the show that he created. South Korean prosecutors sought a 1-year jail term for the owner of a Michelin-starred restaurant accused of using ants as a dessert garnish, according to local media. By the way, in case you didn't know this about South Korea, I'm about to tell you, ants are not among the 10 insect species approved for human consumption under the country's laws. The approved list includes grasshoppers, locusts, and 2-spotted crickets, but not ants. I guess because they can be confused with what, moving chocolate chips? Prosecutors on Monday also asked that the restaurant, which holds 2 Michelin stars, be fined about $13,510. The owner admitted to serving ants, but argued they were used in a small part of the restaurant's 15-course menu as a topping for sorbets. Strawberry sorbet with ants. And the diners were told they could opt for non-ant toppings. No, thank you. I'll pass. I remember years ago as a kid hearing about chocolate-covered grasshoppers. They were apparently a thing in places like Kentucky and Tennessee. Couldn't do it in a million years. And you know what a retronym is? Have you ever heard that term, retronym? You know, like homonym, synonym? Retronyms are plain old things renamed the day a newer version took their name. For example, here are just a few retronyms. Nobody said acoustic guitar until the electric one showed up. The guitar was just the guitar. Then one day somebody invented an electric guitar, and the term to differentiate it, the original guitar, is now referred to as acoustic. Handwritten was the only way we could hand print or type. Handwritten. Vinyl records. Before CDs, they were just records. I have a record of that. Black and white TV used to be just a TV. And conversely, color TV was the new technology that eventually just became plain old TV. So that one's gone full circle. And finally, do I need to say manual transmission? When was the last time you heard somebody say, you know, I have a new car and it's got an automatic transmission in it? Well, we automatically know that in just a couple of minutes, we're going to play the impossible question, give you a chance to be declared the smartest person in town. So get ready to call us or text us. If you think you know the answer, we'll be right back.
You've got Dave Elliott.
And a minute out for Alice Sweetwaters. You know, it's sizzling summer out there. You can tell just by looking at the steam on the windows in the morning. But Alice Sweetwaters has summer sizzling lunch specials just for you every day from 11 to 4. Mondays, the Smash Burger Beach Break for $12. Tuesday, it's Taco Tuesday for $12. Wednesday, the Dockside Duo, which is my favorite. 3 chicken fingers, 3 fried shrimp served with golden fries, $12. And Thursday, the classic French dip. You'll love it. Don't forget Fridays, the local catch lunch. And don't forget Alice Sweetwaters for dinner and snacks and everything in between. It's Alice Sweetwaters, my favorite place to eat, and yours too, I'm sure. At the corner of Glades Boulevard and Airport Road, diagonally across from the East Naples Home Depot, Alice Sweetwaters, where they serve crabs, shrimps, and big people.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my Grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control.
Yikes!
So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Even if he were cloned, he'd still be one of a kind, and the better-looking one. Dave Elliott.
That's me, kids. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's 8:42 on a Thursday morning. Tomorrow on the show, we're going to be joined by our pal Chelsea Murphy, who will have a lot of items to talk about and where to go, what to do, our look at Southwest Florida entertainment. And Monday, coming up on the show Monday, our old friend, former Wall Street Journal and WCBS FM business reporter Joe Connolly will be joining us live from Connecticut. We're going to be talking about the changes that have happened in the media, what the business climate looks like going forward, and what Joe's been up to. So I hope you can join us for that.
Now, the impossible question on the Dave Elliott Show.
And here's a chance for you to become the smartest person in town. If you want to win, all you have to do is text us or call us with the answer to today's impossible question, and we will declare you as such. I think I'm working it out that beginning next week or the week after, we will be giving away gift certificates for Alice Sweetwater's. And we'll tell you how you can do that and win those. But for now, it's just for the honor of being declared the smartest person in town, which, by the way, does have its perks. You know, that and $5 or $6 will buy you a coffee at Starbucks. So take that for what it's worth. Anyway, here's today's impossible question. They estimate that about 3,000 people are injured by one of these, on beaches in America each year. It is estimated that about 3,000 people are injured by one of these on beaches in America each year. Text or call me right now with what you think the answer is at 305 699 2665. 305 699 2665. What do you think the answer to our impossible question is today? It's estimated that about 3,000 people are injured by one of these on beaches in America each year. Frank from Naples says, jellyfish. Sorry, Frank, that is not the right answer. It's a good one, but it's not the right answer. 305-699-2665. Call us or text us if you think you know. Make sure if you text us, you say your name, and I'll declare you the smartest person in town if you get it right. 2 people with the right answer right away. From area code 973. I don't know your name, but the answer is umbrella. Beach umbrellas are the right answer. So unknown, Peggy. That's Peggy from wherever Peggy is from in area code 973. I believe that is a New Jersey number. Somebody else said a football. Sorry, that's incorrect, but I appreciate your calling us anyway. Or texting us, I should say. So the winner this morning is Peggy from wherever area code 973 is. Congratulations, Peggy. I am happy to declare you the smartest person in town. Yes, indeed. All for you. A woman shared on social media, quote, We've lived in an apartment complex for 2 years now with no assigned parking. She said good spots are non-existent at night, but magically every time I come home late from an event, a front row spot is open just for me. She said, I bragged about my lucky girl syndrome over this for 2 years. Last night I pulled in and caught my husband moving his work truck from my coveted spot. For 2 years, he has saved my spot, checked my location when I'm close, and moved his vehicle without saying a thing. He said, when I asked why he never said anything, he just shrugged and said, you're happier when you're lucky. So there you go. That is a spouse to be proud of. A new study in the report Communications Sustainability found that by simply following posted speed limits, U.S. drivers could save 6.7 million gallons of fuel every day just by driving the posted limit, not going over the limit. Even better, based on data collected from millions of vehicle trips, given an average daily driving distance of 28.6 miles, driving at or below the posted speed limit adds just 54 more seconds of driving during the day. Have you ever driven down a road like, let's say, Livingston Road? Have you ever driven down Livingston Road and there's some hot rodder zipping in and out of traffic, and you come up to the intersection at Immokalee or Pine Ridge, and the dude is right there with you because he sped ahead and then he had to get stuck at a light. So he gained nothing by zooming forward on the roadway. Nothing. And eventually will get caught by the red lights. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you want to zoom through traffic just to get stuck at a red light where everybody else is? Don't know. By the way, coming up next week on the show, I'm going to be talking with a male nurse, a registered nurse, who did the most amazing thing. He saved a person being attacked by a shark. And we're going to have him on the show next week talking about that experience. I'm really looking forward to that interview, and I think you will too. It's quite a story of heroism. And in other news this morning, it's a hot NILF summer for American workers. That's NILF with an N, not an M. The number of adults who are NILF, which stands for not in the labor force, surged to an all-time high in June to 105.8 million. You know, there's only 300 and some million people in this country. Does that mean that, and that includes children, by the way, does that mean that more than a third of adults are no longer in the labor force, according to figures from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis? Well, it appears to be that way. The record comes after a massive surge of 832,000 workers dropping out of the labor force in June alone. The overall number of NILFs is higher than at the height of the Great Recession or the COVID pandemic. We have that many people. Why is this story not getting any traction? The definition is broad. It covers all Americans aged 16 and over who aren't currently working, including retirees and students. Leading labor economist Nicholas Eberstadt told the New York Post that drilling down into the data reveals a startling pattern of dropouts, particularly among men. He said, we've got a big problem with the flight from work of prime-age men, and what's been carrying the overall prime-age labor force participation has been the strong involvement of women, not men, said Eberstadt, who holds the Henry Wendt Chair in Political Economy at the American Enterprise Institute. About 5.3 million workers, 5% of NILFs, have dropped out because they're discouraged or cannot even bother looking for work. In addition, up to 22% of people are on long-term illness, disability, or other form of benefits, requesting more than 23.3 million Americans. I'm going to do something I would normally not do. I'm going to take a call on the live line this morning. Good morning. Who's this?
Good morning, Dave. This is Joe. Hey, that super speeder law does not go far enough. I heard what you were talking about, and you are so right. You get caught twice as a super speeder, there should be some type of referendum with the state. Your car is taken away, and we auction the car off, and now I can have a Corvette that I never could afford before.
You know, that's a good idea. And then you can speed and then get caught.
You get caught, we take away your car.
All right.
For good.
Well, I don't think that's a bad idea because, you know, speeding at that, if you're a super speeder where you go twice the speed limit or over 100 miles an hour, whichever it turns out to be, the fact of the matter is that you are putting everybody's life in danger, not just your own.
Absolutely. Let's raise revenue, take that car, auction it off, and now that money goes to the state.
All right, good idea. Thank you, Joe, for the call.
You're welcome, buddy.
Appreciate it. Joe from Marco Island there saying the super speeder law should result in the complete removal of the car from your possession. I don't think he's wrong about that. As a matter of fact, I would endorse that proposal completely without any hesitation whatsoever. Meanwhile, I'm going to get out and go get a little breakfast this morning, and I hope you will do the same. Thank you so much for joining us on the Thursday edition of the Dave Elliott Show. Our numbers are beginning to grow, and we can do that with your help. Please let your friends and neighbors know about the show because it's all about you. We take your phone calls like we just did with Joe. We give you a chance to win prizes and be declared the smartest person in town, and a lot more besides. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, we'll be joined by our good friend Chelsea Murphy, and I hope you too and your friends and neighbors right here on the Dave Elliott Show. Have a great Thursday.